Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to go ahead and report to you guys this interview that reality love and hip hop star Miss Nikki Baby did on the Jason Lee show. Now honestly, I thought that this interview was something that was going to be dropped on YouTube, but no, it was dropped on Zeus Network, where if you don't have a subscription, you cannot watch it. Don't worry y'all, I went ahead, paid for the subscription so you don't have to watch the whole interview, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know what the interview was about. Basically all of the shocking information that Miss Nikki Baby revealed about her relationship with her baby daddy, rapper LiAngelo Ball, within this interview. Now, if you didn't think that this interview was 80% about LiAngelo Ball, then you're sadly mistaken, okay? Honestly, I really didn't expect it, but the interview was mostly about LiAngelo Ball. But let's go ahead and get into it without further ado. So Miss Nikki Baby explains that she went public with her relationship with rapper LiAngelo Ball because she really thought that he was the one. They had a lot in common, she noticed, like coming from a two-parent household, he wasn't drinking and she didn't drink. He didn't live a fast life like some of the other guys that she had dated. Now, Miss Nikki Baby does end up clearing up the rumors. I guess there was a rumor going around that LiAngelo Ball may have been relying on her financially in the beginning of their relationship, and she said that was absolutely not true. He always had his own money, and when they started to get serious within their relationship, they started to split everything 50-50, which later on, after she had their kids, she ended up letting him know, and he ended up signing a $13 million or to a $13 million label. She ended up telling him that he needed to start like paying out more because she didn't imagine herself in her future with her splitting bills 50-50 with the man, but I digress. Anyway, she said in the beginning of their relationship, she never caught LiAngelo cheating. She said he wasn't being sneaky or anything. In fact, he would always leave his phone around unlocked, so she had no reason not to trust him. After they had their son, I didn't know this, but Nikki said that she ended up getting pregnant again, but then she had a miscarriage, and 3 months later, that's when she ended up getting pregnant with their daughter. Now, after her giving birth to their son, she said that she had postpartum mildly, but it got really severe once she had their daughter. We know that Nikki Baby and LiAngelo Ball, they do have 2 kids, one son, he's older, and then they do have a daughter. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breakup, because texting somebody about a breakup and everything that he had going on, for him to send it in text was completely crazy. Let's go ahead and get into it. So Nikki explains that when their baby was just 4 weeks, their daughter was 4 weeks old, LiAngelo, he started to act really weird. He kept going outside to talk on his phone, and she was naive about it at the time, and she was mostly busy taking care of their kids. So she thought that maybe he was talking to labels on the phone, like that's the reason why he was going outside, because this was around the time his song Tweaker was blowing up. She said that she could tell that he had something on his mind and that he wanted to tell her, but he just didn't know how to communicate it to her and tell her. Then he ended up taking a trip to New York for a label meeting with Def Jam, and he wasn't texting her or answering any of her phone calls for 3 days exactly. Then he ends up texting her abruptly out of nowhere, and he says, "We need to talk when I get home. It's really bad." So she ended up saying, "Tell me." She was anxious about it. She wanted to know what had happened. And then she said, "What, you got someone pregnant?" Now I'm trying to figure out how Miss Nikki Baby knew that he had got someone pregnant so fast. Like, why was that the first thing on her mind? But she did say that before he left to go to that label meeting in New York, her and LiAngelo were getting into a lot of arguments. They were getting into a lot of disagreements. So I guess she kind of assumed that while he was in New York and he wasn't answering the phone, he was doing his own thing. Now, the craziest thing to me, y'all, listen to this. Miss Nikki Baby actually ended up saying that one time LiAngelo Ball had asked her, not during this whole debacle and her finding out that he got someone else pregnant, but he had asked her in general. He was like, "What would be a deal breaker for you? What would make you leave me?" And she ended up telling him, "If you got someone else pregnant." So to me, I'm thinking, because these two were getting into a lot of arguments, I'm thinking that LiAngelo Ball, he maybe just didn't have the guts to leave Miss Nikki Baby, and he wanted her to do it, so he ended up getting someone else pregnant. I just really don't know, even though it said that Rashida, of course, got pregnant earlier than him going on that New York trip. So when he came back home from his trip, he ended up grabbing his things. He showed up with his friends, and Nikki said that he just couldn't face her. He wouldn't even look her in the face. He didn't even say anything to her. He just grabbed all of his things. He got dressed, briefly picked up their son, and Nikki explains that she had her mom there. He had his friends there. She had her mom there, and y'all already know how Nikki Baby and her mama get it down, so they were like yelling at him while he was there and trying to get his things. Now let's get into LiAngelo Ball's new baby mama, Rashida, and what Nikki claims that she knows about her. Now Nikki said that she heard that LiAngelo Ball and Rashida started to date in October. Everything became confirmed once she seen pictures on the blogs of Rashida and LiAngelo kissing in a club. Now Nikki Baby said her getting the information that her baby daddy LiAngelo Ball had got another woman pregnant was so embarrassing to her that she really wanted to keep it private. We all know she came out with that long paragraph a few months ago explaining everything, and she said ultimately she didn't want to do that, but once the pictures came out and fans knew that he was cheating on her, or that he was with someone else, or he had got someone else pregnant, she had to speak out and say something. Now she said that all of the rumors that Rashida was spreading about her on social media was completely untrue. Like she's the R word and she doesn't like people from the community. She said that's absolutely not true. She also says that she heard that the car that LiAngelo ended up buying for his boo Rashida is not actually Rashida's car. She heard that it's actually LiAngelo's car, but I guess she uses his car. I don't know. Now let's go ahead and get into where things are now. Nikki Baby says that her and LiAngelo do have a co-parenting relationship now, even though they don't talk much and she hasn't gotten closure from him. She says that now every time that her baby daddy LiAngelo ends up seeing her, he ends up apologizing for everything. And she said that she asked him, like, what exactly are you sorry for? But she does explain that he's not someone who really knows how to express his emotions, so he doesn't really specifically explain, but he always apologizes to her when he sees her. She says that she ultimately thinks that him coming to the house and reminiscing and remembering maybe all of the things that they went through and when he actually had the family, because yeah, he comes over there to visit the kids, is probably what gets him in his feelings and has him apologizing to her every time he sees her. Ultimately, Miss Nikki Baby says that she's healing and she's happy and she's dating now. And honestly, watching the interview, I was really proud of Miss Nikki Baby, of her answering a question that Jason Lee asked her, because Jason Lee asked her, would you go back to LiAngelo Ball? Like if he healed, if he got therapy, if he got himself together, would you actually go back to him? She said no, she wouldn't go back to LiAngelo Ball because he ended up getting another woman pregnant, and that was kind of like the ultimate betrayal, which I do absolutely agree with. She said if she was to get back with LiAngelo Ball, she wouldn't feel secure in their relationship. Of course, she would think that he would end up leaving again abruptly and doing the same thing that he did to her, which is getting another woman pregnant. So why would she come back? She said that she doesn't think that the person who is for her would end up treating her like that and doing anything like that to her, which I agree with. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I did think that Miss Nikki Baby was going to answer that question differently. I thought that she was going to answer that question differently. I really thought she was going to say she would take LiAngelo Ball back with different circumstances or whatever, but she stood on business. She was like, no, I would not take him back, which I absolutely agree with. I don't think that she should. Now let's go ahead and get into Rashida, because I guess Rashida got word of this interview. Of course, her name was mentioned. Jason Lee ended up constantly calling her the girl. Okay, of course he was being shady because Jason Lee and Nikki Baby are friends, and they let that be known during this interview multiple times. So he's not really feeling what LiAngelo Ball did to Miss Nikki Baby, and he's not really feeling Rashida either. So he ends up, like I said, calling her that girl, that girl, that girl throughout the interview. And I know Rashida or LiAngelo Ball fans had to end up telling her what was going on in this interview, or maybe sending her some clips of it. So Rashida, she ends up responding on her Insta story. Now, mind you, this is all coming out only a week after TMZ reported that LiAngelo Ball decided to file for a divorce from Rashida Nicole, okay? Weeks after she just announced that she's pregnant by him, and after we just didn't know that these two were secretly married. Anyways, this is what Rashida Nicole had to say yesterday about Miss Nikki Baby's interview with Jason Lee. She said, I was really trying to chill because I am pregnant, but I am so tired of this B keep talking about me, so let's talk about it. It's given obsessed. You were so focused on blaming me for y'all problems, he decided to leave, okay? Now, I can say with Rashida Nicole posting this, I, in a way, kind of feel like I understand where she's coming from, because there was a part of the interview, which I forgot to include, where Miss Nikki Baby was saying that Rashida Nicole was busy coming for her, but she was like, you're the one who ruined and messed messed up my family. She said something along those lines, and I really didn't agree with what Miss Nikki Baby was saying, but she was being a little contradicting because later on she does say that LiAngelo Ball was the one who owed her loyalty and it wasn't Rashida. So anyways, let's go ahead and continue. She said, I do not mention you, nor do I care. This lady has harassed me the entire time behind the scenes, trying to have people call me to get rid of my baby, wishing D on my unborn child, and so much more. I'm done. And just a PSA, my due date is in December, so again, y'all do the math. Thank you for all of the free promo though. While I'm baking this beautiful baby, thank you to all of the negative, miserable people for your expert opinions and comments, because you know what's going on in my life better than I do. How could I ever forget? Sit back and relax and enjoy the show, because I know I am. Let her cook. I'm just loading up. Okay, so we don't know what Rashida Nicole is talking about, what she has up her sleeve, but I guess a lot of us will be following along to see what she has going on, because she's talking about I'm just loading up. Let her cook. Sit back. Watch the show. What you got going on, Rashida Nicole? Are you coming out with a show or something? Or is you and LiAngelo Ball still together? I mean, she still does have him posted on social media. Like I said, we will be following along. But that's it, guys. That's what Miss Nikki Baby had to say during her interview with Jason Lee. If you haven't seen it, if you didn't want to pay for it. And that's what Rashida Nicole had to respond and say yesterday on her Insta story, responding to that interview that Miss Nikki Baby did with Jason Lee. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. What do you think about all of the information that Miss Nikki Baby revealed about her relationship with her baby daddy, LiAngelo Ball? Do you feel like that interview should have been centered around LiAngelo Ball? When I tell you guys, the whole interview, literally an hour-long interview, was, I think it was an hour and like 20 or 30 minutes interview, was about LiAngelo Ball. It literally was. If you guys want to watch it, I still do suggest that if you want to pay I think I paid like $6 for a month. If you want to pay that and check it out, definitely check it out, because it is a decent interview. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Once again, thank you so much for watching Room for Tea. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Have a blessed rest of your night.